Hello everybody, and welcome to another Tinkerer'S Cube draft here on the channel. This one's just for you folks on YouTube, so I do hope you enjoy it. But before I dive in, I want to remind you that if you enjoy this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment in the comment section down below with your questions or feedback. If you would like to support my content, you can do so via the Patreon, patreon.com/NicolaiBolas. Just want to send out that little reminder. But yeah, I'm happy to be making some more YouTube stuff. If you're wondering why there's no camera, it's mostly just because I didn't really feel like it at the moment. Okie doke, so what are we working with here? One of the things with this cube is I've found that it's important to try and make sure you draft it like a normal cube, find what's open, and then there are some cards that are just more powerful than others. Like, I don't know, it's pretty easy to see that Perilous Mirror might not be the most powerful card in the world. I'm immediately drawn to this Renata. I'm not exactly sure why, but I think that there's been some like tokens themes that I've seen where Renata would really thrive, and there's +1/+1 counter themes in green, so I really kind of like that element. And it's a monocolored card. It fits into a lot of what green's doing, and pretty fine starting with that. I haven't actually started with a Renata yet. Goes well with Calyx if I wield the Calyx, but I don't think I would. Planeswalkers are relatively rare in this cube, so each one gets a little bit of a bump because of that. Anax is good if you really want to like force mono red or go heavy into red, and it's also good in the sacrifice decks. So that's a pretty good pick as well, but I'm going to try out this Renata, I think. Okay, so following up Renata, what do we have? We have Nyx Herald for more enchantment creature shenanigans. There is Woe Strider as a sack outlet. I don't think black-green is necessarily a sacrifice deck. What does Carnifex Demon do? You can put -1/-1 counters on each creature. That's reasonable. There's Fight with Fire, which can be good. Crackling Drake is pretty color constrictive, so it's only really good in a blue-red deck. Maul Fist goes well with the counters idea. Night of Autumn is also good with counters. I'm tempted to just take Maul Fist. Rashmi can be good too. There is a lot of removal in this cube though, so I'm hesitant to put in cards that like need to stick around. Renata is kind of a card that wants to stick around, but it's also just a reasonable creature. Rashmi is like pretty small. It's not a card you really ever want to trade with. And this does go well with the Renata. It's heavy green. It maybe isn't the most powerful card. Maybe I can get away with it wheeling. So maybe I can speculate here. Maybe I just take a Raise the Alarm because of the synergy with Renata. Tokens. Get started on that early. I think I'm going to do that and try to wheel Maul Fist. You know, I'm just going to take the Maul Fist. It's a card that I most want out of the pack, so I'm not going to get too fancy there. Evolution Sage works really well with the Renata type of plan, or the counters plan. Works well with Fearless Fledgling things, but I'm just going to keep sticking with my green cards. It's nice to be heavy in one color. Feel that is a cool deck to draft, but I've been more experimenting trying to make sure that you can draft a two-color deck. I feel like I've been in a lot of situations in cubes where it feels like you have to play 3 colors or something like that, and if that's the place where you have to be, there's got to be a way to work the system to end up with a good 2-color deck or something. I think I have pretty good synergies set up here. Crystalline Giant's a pretty good card as well. I think Sage could just be a lot of potential though. Wow, a lot of good stuff in this pack. So immediately I'm drawn to the 2-drops in green. Branchwalker puts counters on itself potentially, or draws me a land, which I love. Thorn Lieutenant is also great. Just excellent sizing, has an activated ability. I think I'm going to take the Branchwalker because of the counter potential. Though, yeah, I think that's nice too. Brontodon's also really good. It's a heavy green card. Potentially works with making the Renata quite large. But I think getting a good 2-drop is important. I would like the Bronzodon, but I am probably going to end up in a second color at some point, and I think Branchwalker is just a really good 2-drop. And the fact that it puts a counter on itself is really good because you can curve this into a Maul Fist Revolutionary, put an extra counter on, things of that nature. Okay, now it looks like we're going to be taking Armorcraft Judge or Fabled Passage. Fabled Passage is good with the Evolution Sage. Branching Evolution could be good as well. Doubling the counters has a lot of potential. So right now I'm choosing between Branching Evolution, Armorcraft Judge as just a card draw engine for my counters deck, and Fabled Passage. Maybe I do take Branching Evolution. It's just a really powerful tool for a counters deck, and you want to make sure you get some good payoffs. And Evolution Sage is fine, even with just normal land drops. Now I'll take Destiny Spinner as just a 2-drop. It's also an enchantment, which isn't irrelevant. I have some enchantments here. What else could I want out of this pack? There's Anointer Priest for if I wanted to go more of a tokeny direction. Sir Conrad the Grim is just a good card. I don't know exactly what black-green is doing. Maybe it's more of just a graveyard grindy deck. I think this color pair might pair best with white for the tokens that it provides. Also, there's some things like Conclave Mentor, which is the green-white +1/+1 counters matters card. Destiny Spinner is just a nice 2-drop, though. You want to make sure you have some good 2s. Anointer Priest is also appealing. I'm just going to take the Spinner, though. Being mono green is really nice. And now there's a Bloom Hulk. I like that. It's a proliferate card, so if I have some counters running around, I can put extra counters, and if I have this out, I'll get twice as many counters, so pretty good. Mind Stone can help ramp me up to my stuff. There is Erebos, which is not really in my sweet spot here. Lead the Stampede. Any number of creatures. So we have creature, 3, 4, 5, 6 of our 7 cards are creatures, so this could be quite good in the deck. Tusker is more of a ramp and fixing card. Mind Stone is just a good card as well. I could see taking the Mind Stone or the Lead the Stampede. I'm presumably going to be a heavy creature deck. But Mind Stone is just really good. I'm just going to take Mind Stone. I'm pretty much never unhappy to have a Mind Stone. It's just great acceleration in this sort of cube. Now I can take Indrik or I could take Calyx. How many enchantments do I have? I have 1, 2, 3. So, yeah, I think that kind of forces me into a path that I don't need to force myself into. So maybe Green-Black is Reanimator. There's Unbreakable Bond. I'm just going to take the Indrik. Indrik's a pretty reasonable card a lot of the time. And now Nyx Herald over Raise the Alarm. Again, I don't see a reason to commit to a second color here. There are going to be some cards in green-white that make me want to go towards counters. Like Night of Autumn does put counters on itself, but it's primarily used to destroy artifacts and enchantments. And I'm just going to take the Nyx Herald. Heavy green is a good spot to be. Fearless Fledgling, I'll take over Field of the Dead. It's doubtful that I'm going to end up with a bunch of different types of lands, and Fledgling does put counters on itself, which is nice. And what else am I even taking there? Harpy. Each player mills 3 cards. Interesting. I'm just going to take the land. Gives me some flexibility. This can put a counter on itself, or return an artifact or enchantment. Sure, we'll try it. Late Alseed. Okay, so what are we working with here in pack 2? Well, Mikaeus the Lunarch is a great card for this deck, I'd say. Same with Scavenging Ooze. They're both really good for the +1/+1 counters theme. Mikaeus is arguably better. Putting counters on your whole team is really powerful. So, could be real good. What else is there? There is a Scavenging Ooze, which obviously would be great. We're going more in the counters direction rather than the tokens direction. So we're not as eager to get a Woodland Champion, though it does put counters on itself. We just don't have that many tokens. I'm going to take the Mikaeus. It's the best card for our deck by a lot. Green-white is a good place to end up for with our counters themes. Maybe instead of the Alseed, we were supposed to take the land, but I think being able to protect some of our key pieces could be quite nice. I like how Mikaeus interacts with Branching Evolution, Evolution Sage, Maulfist. It's not as good with Nyx Herald. Maybe we're not going to play the Zagoth Triome. Okay, so this says whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield. So currently we have, and it puts counters. So we have enchantment. So I'm liking the Alseed now. Enchantment, enchantment. 4, 5 enchantments. That's pretty good. Makes this card a pretty scary threat. The opponents might just think they have to kill it immediately. And it's really the only card in our color, so we'll take it pretty happily. Find Finality would have to be a splash. I don't think we want to risk it, even though we do have that land already. Champion could be good. Well, there's a Pacifism, another synergy piece with the champion. There's also Fauna Shaman, which can fetch up some of our key cards, potentially. There's a lot of toolbox cards in our deck that we could search up that would be quite good. I don't love pacifism. There's a lot of like ways to bounce your own creatures or sacrifice them, or they just have activated abilities like Mikaeus. I'm going to take the Fauna Shaman. I think it's a powerful card. Powerful effect as well. Well, Luminarch Aspirant is perfect here. You can spread those counters around. Ajani's also pretty good in our deck, putting 2 counters at the top end. Maybe we don't want the Trusty Retriever. I do like Luminarch Aspirant. Ajani's quite nice, and we have some 2-drops to get back. I think Aspirant's a little bit better just because it's cheaper and double white could be hard for our mana. So we're going to take the Aspirant. What does this do again? Aura. Yeah, we don't really have auras in this deck. Could just take the Nyx Fleece Ram. Not really an all that glitters deck. Ram could be okay, depending on where we end up. Probably not, though. It does give us a nice, like, anti-aggro tool, potentially. Let's see if we know anyone in the pod. I do not. But maybe you see yourself in the pod, and you were like, wow, I'm in a pod with Nikolai. That's awesome. That's how I imagine people hopefully feel, because hopefully they think it would be cool to be in my pod. Ooh, this is a pack. So Finale of Glory makes tokens. Archon, whenever enchantment, so that could be decent. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 enchantments right now. So Archon has some potential. Roar of the Worm, not really any synergy. Finale is just a great card. I love Finale. Archon's just a great anti-aggro tool, and I don't want to get run over. So I'm going to take the Archon, I think. I do like the Finale, though. So I could see that being an incorrect pick. Ranger of Eos. I like that I have 2 targets already. I can probably get 1 more, maybe. And being able to get Mikaeus is really nice. Faith's Fetters. Now, this is a card I can get behind. Charming Prince is also okay, but Faith's Fetters is a nice removal, and it's an enchantment for my synergies, so you'll love to see it. Yeah, that's also reasonable, but we're just going to take the Faith's Fetters. Timely is a little bit questionable in this heavy creature deck. Castle Ardenvale is probably medium. Cartouche. Don't love Cartouche. I'm just going to take the Castle. Cartouche does have some synergies with my cards. Just going to take the Castle, though. Whenever you gain life, untap the Paladin. I have some life gain, but not enough to make it worth it. We'll take Prism. Maybe we'll want it. I don't think we will, but maybe. Pacifism came back. Maybe we'll want it. You never know. We have some enchantment synergies, so having an extra enchantment could go decently. The Calyx would have been pretty good in this deck. It looks like we have some decent enchantments. Wow, Ajani came back. We have a 2-pack deck here. We can probably cut some weaker cards like Trusty Retriever. Wow, Siona came back. Aura, we have 2 auras now. You only get the 1/1s if you attach them to your creatures, so that's a little bit questionable. I don't think we even want the Siona. Maybe we want to play the Nyx Fleece Ram. Hard to say. Probably can cut the Trusty Retriever. I like all these 4-drops is the problem. Nyx Herald might have to go. Indrik, probably okay. Probably can get the Prophetic Prism. I'm really glad we have the Mind Stone. Ooh, Panharmonicon. Sure. Panharmonicon triggering things twice. We have some things that care about that. But other things that just don't care about that. Okay, looking at this pack, we see Heliod's Pilgrim, which can immediately just be a card that goes and gets Faith Fetters. There's also, in this pack, Emissary of Sunrise, which is a counters synergy card. I'm looking at this Indotha Triome, though, because it's a nice dual land. My deck, as you can see, already has a billion cards that are good. So I don't need to add more of those. I wouldn't mind Ozolith wheeling or Heliod's Pilgrim wheeling. We're just going to make sure the mana's usable. Wow. This is tough. I've had great experiences with Venerated Loxodon. This card seems really good in the deck as well. I think Loxodon's a little bit more self-reliant. In that this often has to, This often has to stick around for a turn. I think I'm the only green-white drafter, so I can maybe get away with taking the Loxodon. Loxodon also works really well with Bloomhulk. I'm going to take the Loxodon. I think it's better. Mentor's really good, though, especially with like branching evolutions type of stuff. Hopefully one of those cards comes back. And now we'll take Grateful Apparition. I wouldn't mind First Rowan Games, honestly. This is a really good card, but Proliferate's really good with a lot of my cards, too. So, we'll do that. Green-white land. Honestly, we'll just take the lands over most things. Riss is a good card. We aren't really a tokens deck, though. Ancestral Blade's a good card, but again, we aren't really a tokens deck. We don't really care about that. But just getting the land to make sure we can cast all of our double green cards, double white cards is important. Guardian Idol versus Unbreakable Formation is interesting. Because, if we look, we have 3, 4, 5, 6 4-drops that we want to be playing. Unbreakable Formation puts a counter on every creature. I think we'd rather just have Guardian Idol. This is close, though. Giving Indestructible is a little bit trickier when you're not sure if they even have a sweeper. Just ramping from 2 to 4 is quite nice. Ooh. Patron of the Valiant could be quite good in the deck. Enchantment spell, create a 4/4. So how many? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 enchantments. So I don't think that's worth it. I think we're just going to take Patron of the Valiant. Over the Crawler Harpooner too. We just have a ton of 2-drops. Getting a little bit more top end is nice. Aerial Responder's a great place to put counters. I don't think we really want Explore. A double white card's tricky, but we have a couple of lands for our deck now. Grakmaw's a cool card for counters, but we're not really a black-green counters deck. Another counters card. Also Tactician, but Tactician doesn't have synergy with our deck. The Sentinel's Eyes is a way to use our graveyard and trigger our enchantment cards. I could see taking that, or the Ugin's Conjurant. I'm just going to take this, I think. Probably not play it, though. I could have taken the Ardenvale Tactician, but I think I want to have most of my cards on theme or be something to put counters on. I think this is better than the Ardenvale Tactician, because putting counters on a lifelink vigilance thing is nice. Ooh, Heliod's Pilgrim and Emissary came back. Well, this can get Faith's Fetters and Pacifism, but I'm not sure I'm going to play Pacifism, so I'm just going to take the Emissary. It can put a counter on itself, which is nice. And if it doesn't, it gets a counter, so it draws me a card, so that's nice. Okay, so the Conclave thing didn't come back, but Basri's Lieutenant did. Unfortunately, we are fighting over a green-white deck with someone else, which is a little bit odd. I didn't anticipate that. There was a decent chance that the Conclave Mentor came back, but Basri's Lieutenant is also good. I'm actually okay with the Aspirant because it means that my Ranger of Eos is going to be more likely to have 2 targets to kit from the deck. It's funny because we started off a heavy green deck, and we ended up a heavy white deck. Maybe I was supposed to take the Conclave Mentor. I did take something good over it. It was that, Bazu Lieutenant, and... what was the third card in that pack? Oh, and Venerated Loxodon, which is a great card in its own right, so... I'm pretty okay with how things are working out here. So we have 47 cards. We can probably afford to shave on some of the payoffs for enchantments. So like Nyx Fleece Ram can go, Destiny Spinner can go, Ancestral Blade can certainly go. I like the 3 1-drops to go with the Ranger Evios. We can maybe cut the Archon of Sun's Grace. Indrik maybe is a bit expensive, though we do have a couple of ramp cards and some Explore. Cut the Pacifism. Citizen Champion, because now that we have a lot less enchantments running around, I think it's best to focus on one thing and do it very well. Faith Fetters is still good unconditional removal, pretty much. Johnny's good in our deck, Renata's good. A lot of our cards are really good and on theme. And we have some ramp even to get up to our 4-drops a little faster, which is nice. Fauna Shaman might be a little bit clunky. Because most of our creatures aren't things we want to discard. I think I'm going to get rid of the Fauna Shaman. It's just going to be clunky to fit into our curve. And then 17 lands is a good place to be, especially with a cycling land. Let's look at our colors. We did end up heavier white than green, which is kind of funny. Malphite Revolutionary might not be the most powerful card either, especially because being double green makes it harder to cast early in this mana base. What 2-drops do we have that put counters? We have quite a few. And this can be a 2-drop. I think it's fine. So we'll replace one of our planes with this card. So yeah, looks like a pretty cool deck. We towed the line a little bit in terms of which colors we were going. I mean, in terms of what our theme was going to be, whether that was enchantments or +1/+1 counters. But I think we got there with counters in the end. And I'm happy with how this looks. And I'll see you folks in the matches. Before I get to the matches, I want to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons over at patreon.com/NicolaiBolas, and special thanks to those who support me at the credits level. It's thanks to patrons that I am able to continue investing the time and effort needed to produce high quality videos on a consistent basis. So thank you so much for that, and I really do appreciate it. If you would like to learn more about the Patreon, the rewards you can get for becoming a patron, and how it helps me continue to make videos, be sure to check out that information at patreon.com/NicolaiBolas. But without further ado, let's get to the matches. Welcome to round 1. This is a slow hand, certainly, but it's a keepable one. We have a lot of our more expensive cards, but we have a 3-drop to play that does work with some of our other cards. Oh, looks like they could be up to some shenanigans. We're probably going to lead with the Emissary of Sunrise. Hopefully they don't slap a Curiosity onto this. Our deck is a little bit light in the removal department. We're happy either way here. Either we draw a land to help us develop our plan, or we get a counter. We're going to have to put that in the graveyard, because we do need a land. But at least our Malphite Revolutionary has something to target now. Okay, so they're a blue-red spells deck. Good to know. Indrik could have some potential. Killing one of their creatures before it gets too big. Nice little first striker here. Charter Course potentially coming up. Nope, they don't have anything. Interesting. Well, that leads me to believe that getting a Luminarch Aspirant could be good. Could be good. I could also just jam Malphite Revolutionary. If I wait on the Luminarch, I can use it alongside one of the 1-drops from Ranger Evios, so that's appealing. I think I just want to get the Maul Fist going. They probably have a counter spell of some kind, but this is one of my weaker spells overall. Missing on a land here is a little bit weak, but, you know, such is life. And I didn't want to just do nothing that turn, because I have a handful of spells. Kazmina. Interesting. Well, they're either going to have to chump or let Kazmina die, so they get a lot less value out of it that way. And this card's really good with the Evolution Sage in particular. Good night, Jack. Okay, so we did hit a land. This has first strike. So I can get Mikaeus and Sky Marcher Aspirant with this. You know what I kind of want to do is get the Bazir's Lieutenant going so that I have some insurance. And then when all my creatures have counters, even if they die, I'm okay. So I think I'm just going to play that plan. Also, it's just a massive creature. And red has burn-based removal and bounce. And this has protection from multicolored, so they might have like a Crackling Drake or something, which this would help against. Kazmina is not actually providing them value if they end up chumping with the tokens as well. And now if I draw a land, I can go Evolution Sage, land, Aspirant. Get 2 counters on my creatures. Unfortunately missing out on the land drop trigger for the Aspirant itself, but and then I can get my Mikaeus going with range reveals. Being able to search up Mikaeus is really powerful in this deck, as it often would be when you are a counters deck. They have a tough decision here. Maybe they are missing lands as well, or they have just a lot of good spells in hand. I think Bazir's Lieutenant is just a beating, just a massive card. Spells you bonus cast a target or creature planeswalker cost 2 more to cast. I don't really have any spells like that. I have Faith's Fetters. But you kind of still want to kill Kazmina because you don't want them to be able to use the like a bounce spell to get it back to their hand or something. Guardian Idol. Well, pretty cut out for me here. I'm going to start off with the Aspirant. If they have a counter spell, they get to use it, but that's okay. Put the counter on the Aspirant. So that if they do kill it, I get a 2/2 at least out of the bargain. They could have a flash creature. I don't have every card memorized, so I think I'm just going to send this at that Kazmina to finish it off, and this at their face. They have Brinebow and Cutthroat, sure. Okay. So they are missing lands. I should have noticed that last turn. So that means they have 4 spells in hand. I do need to be a little bit worried about this, but I can pressure them pretty effectively. Okay. So I probably want to get this Sage down. Actually, no, I can't afford to do that. I probably want to get this Ranger down. Yeah, Ranger down first. Or I could play Indrik. How much does this cost to use? Ooh, Indrik is appealing. They could have a counter spell, they could have a removal spell. But if I can get this Indrik to kill something key, to kill the Pteramander before it takes over, because they're almost at the point of activating this. It costs 8, so they're 1 mana off. We'll see if this resolves before we make our attack decision. I'm doubtful that it will, but they have used 1 counterspell already. And they can't have infinite. Beautiful. Put a counter on the Indrik. Just spreading the counters out makes our Sage better. Ooh, Rouse Outburst. Interesting, interesting, interesting. I thought they might have a card like that, but at the same time, no attacks. We will hold back. We don't want to take too much damage here. So we can play Ranger of Eos. Get Mikaeus and our 2/1 flyer for blocking purposes. Or we could get Alseed. Alseed would protect things, which is nice. Probably going to get Mikaeus and Alseed now that I think about it. Oh dear. Well, this could end badly. So I'm going to go for the Alseed and the Sky Marcher Aspirant here. I'm not going to put the counter on the Alseed because I'm going to want to be sacrificing that. I'm instead going to put the counter onto the Sky Marcher Aspirant. Diversify threats. Attack in for 3. Hopefully we can get a land so that we can go Sage, land, Basri's Lieutenant. They don't have a sorcerer to get back, which is nice. But this can go face, I think. So we don't want to fall too low in life total. Okay, Mind Stone. So we certainly want to get this thing down. So if we go Mind Stone first, then we'll have the mana up to hold up Alseed. So I like that. And we'll put the counter onto itself. It also has protection from Rouse Outburst. Protection from red. Fizzles that, which is really good. Counter onto the Lieutenant. Counter onto the Ranger of Eos. So now everything has a counter. Hit them for 3. Pass. So double their spells this turn. Could end badly. But the Alseed really pulling its weight. Stopping Electro Dominance is huge. Okay, Rouse Outburst. Sure, they doubled it. But we do get 2 2/2s here, which is nice because of the Basri's Lieutenant. So at least it's not that bad. Couple of tokens. We're about to jam a massive Mikaeus, which is good as well. And now they don't have a guaranteed removal spell for Mikaeus. They could have another one, obviously, or a bounce spell or something. You can also sack Mind Stone if we do need to hit a land for Evolution Sage at some point. Getting a couple 2/2s is nice, though. They still have 4 spells in hand, hopefully. Or presumably is what I meant. Okay, so we can play Evolution Sage and Mikaeus. So we go 3 for F Sage. This means we can play 4 mana for Mikaeus if we want to hold up a mana to do something else. That seems reasonable to me. So we play Mikaeus for X equals 3. That's 1, 2, 3. Then we play the Sage. Yep. Or do we want to do 2 so that we can crack Mind Stone? 3 seems good. Okay, not as good as was hoped, but you know, it is still a reasonable outcome. We didn't waste our turn or anything. We have our second spell. If these trade, we're pretty okay with that, I'd say. If they have a sweeper, it does end badly for us. But we want to make sure we put pressure on them. They have 3 cards in hand. They'd have to have Star of Extinction to really wreck me. Okay, thank goodness. I'm still traumatized from that when that happened to me before. Okay, they could bounce 1, get another token. It's reasonable. Brawl. Sure, they have a couple counters. Their deck looks sweet. I like this. That this is an archetype. Pretty cool. Oh, interesting play. Oh, baby. Well, that's not. They're not gonna like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's just play this first. One would hope they don't have a Essence Scatter. Oh, yes. Evolution Sage. Get it done. Oh, yes. Whew. I didn't mean to tap that. I wanted to be able to activate that. I am going to pass without attacking, I think. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, never mind. They have 5 power. We're okay to attack. We even have a 4/4 blocker. If I had this activated up, I'd be a little bit happier, but I considered activating this and then using that to convoke out the Venerated Loxodon, so I'd have a 3/3, or a 4/4 actually, Guardian Idol. But the deck seems very powerful here. Overload. Massive creature, but it looks like I'm going to be able to go wide past that. What are they going to get? Another Rouse Outburst. Electro Dominance, try to go face. Into the Royal, what are they going to bounce? They have 4 blockers. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 attackers. Any 2 of which are lethal. So they need a real miracle here to not die. Okay. And we are going to go for it. They can bounce 2, kill 2, whatever, they still die. They need to have 3 answers here. And it's still not that bad for me. I still kill 3 of their creatures. I'll have a chump blocker back. would have been interesting if I drew my cycling land, because I think I'm not supposed to play it. I mean, I think I am supposed to play it just to get counters on everything. Okay. They're still dead. Pretty close game. Really a fun matchup, I think. The decks were both pretty cool. I liked my opponent's deck a lot. Maybe I'll be able to draft something like that in the future. They had a lot of cool spells matter cards, but counter synergies got the job done in the end. Venerated Lockstone was a key role player there. Really happy to have that one. And see you folks next round. Welcome to round 2. We are on the play, and we have a pretty clear mulligan. We can't play these 3 white spells, and our deck is pretty powerful. This is a little bit of an ouch as well, but we can just get rid of a plains. Just rely on the Renata later. Though Renata is ideally used a little bit earlier, we'll just get a turn 3 Ranger, get a Alseid and a Mikaeus, and go from there. The Sky Marcher is really just a third backup to have for the Ranger. It also gives us a little bit of proactivity. Ooh. If I could have the opportunity to jam a Renata first, I think I would. Kind of interesting on that front. Alseid and Mikaeus. They're both pretty good here. Ruin Crab, okay, they're gonna mill me. Looks like that's what it is. It is milling. They didn't mill a forest. Dead weight my guy, sure. So they've got some aggressive stuff going on with their 1/1. And then they've got some not so aggressive stuff. So there's our last 1 drop. So we're gonna start with Alseid. Then Sky Marcher. I'm going to pay X equals 1. I'm going to protect Mikaeus with my Alseid. Because next turn if I draw a forest, I can immediately bump up the counters with my Maulfist, and then put a counter on everything. I don't need to worry about 1 damage at this point. Okay, Blade Juggler. I guess I did need to worry about 1 damage. Their deck is unexpected, so I'm not really gonna concern myself with that. They're tapped out, so my turn. Forest, Plains. So we are going to sack this to look for a forest. We have all the lands we need. Aerial Responder's not bad. So we're going to start by putting a counter on Mikaeus, and then put a counter on everything. There's a couple of forests. I'm not really worried about the mill as a losing situation here. Honestly, we'll probably protect Area Responder with Alseid as well. Pro black. And now we can even block with it, which is nice. Easy money. This card's really good in our deck. I would like a second forest. Ooh, yes, we didn't mill any forests. Davriel. Renata's not going to be super useful. And Graceful Apparition is going to be absurd here, so you'll love to see it. This thing, whenever it's with power 6 or greater. Forest. Ooh, Basri Lieutenant, though. That was a heck of a draw. So we can put the counter onto the Mikaeus. Then we can remove the counter. Put a counter on each creature we control. Then we can attack with our flyers. Going at them, that's 7, 11 damage. They would have gone to 1, put a counter on everything. Wild ride there. What a performance from our deck. I love the synergy. Good flying stuff. See you folks next round. Welcome to another round. Excellent hand here. Grateful Apparition really thrives when you have ways to put counters on it, which we don't currently have, but we have a lot of ways of doing that in our deck. And Emissary of Sunrise can maybe get a counter, and then we'll start growing that. Spectral Sailor, eh? Oh, they have a Grateful Apparition too. Do I need to block that? Apparition doesn't do much for me right now. I could just play the Responder. I'm not going to block. It could be a really good card for me in the near future. We're just going to lead with the Responder here. The reason being is we don't have a way to push this through right now. Oh, Baron. Okay. They bounced the Responder. That's really good for me. Nothing to proliferate, sir. So I could go for the guaranteed counter with the Fledgling, or the not as guaranteed counter with Emissary. I'm gonna go with the Emissary. It's just more mana efficient, and it could really inform my draw step. I think I have to put that in the graveyard. It is powerful is the thing. It just doesn't work with what I'm doing right now. I think I play this. Next turn I can go Responder. No, Fledgling, land, Responder. Oh, that's not good.
I look forward to seeing your...
I guess next turn I'm Faith Fetterings this. I guess punished for that in some ways. So I have 5 lands. I could play Responder. No. Okay, I'm just gonna stick with the original plan. Fledgling. Land. Responder.
If that's your base, bully for you.
I still have the Face Fetters. I still have Venerated Loxodon, which can put counters on everything I care about. Bubble Snare, okay.
What hurts them heartens me.
That's awkward. So I could go this plus Venerated Loxodon. But they could also have a counter up. I kind of just want to Faith Fetters that, but it's not that big of a deal because my creatures are going to outgrow it. So I'm going to... let them do whatever they want for a turn and hope they don't have a counter. That just seems unrealistic. They've got to have a counter. Yep. If only this thing was untapped for the moment. They might just cash it in. They might plus it and try to get in for some damage.
It's the small things that matter.
I hope they don't have +2/+2. That's a yikes. Did not see that coming, not gonna lie. Okay. Okay, so I can go Fearless Fledgling. Land. Next turn. Combat attack the Baron. I mean the Dovin. With my Vigilance guy.
For me to slip up is
And then go... That. It's a little clunky, and they're going to get a bunch of counters on their Dovin, but that'll leave them exposed to a counterattack, is the hope. So they're playing their land, good to know. They're plussing the Dovin. They're going to get all the way up to 7 again. But I have 3 flyers now, hopefully. This could be a flyer as well. And my Grateful Apparition's a lot better than theirs. Dockhand, okay. Well, that was a good draw, shall we say. We'll do this first, because we want to gain more life from our guy. Get into combat here. Try to finish that guy off. Try to get 10 damage in. They could have a bounce spell for Aerial Responder. Threnody Singer. Yikes. Major yikes. Actually not that big of a yikes. I still have my 4 or 5 vigilance, so I lost my Fledgling. They lost a Threnody Singer. Oh, but they get... Dovin doesn't take any damage. So I guess I was supposed to send everything at Dovin. I wasn't thinking of Threnody Singer specifically, which like blanks 2 attackers. I was thinking of a card that blanks only 1. But I guess they do draw 3 here. Maybe I was also supposed to send Guardian Idol at them. So that could be costly. I just don't know every card in the cube memorized because there's so many random junkers as well. I'll see it. Okay, that's neat. Could be a pretty good card here. All their creatures already have flying, so that gives them no benefit whatsoever. Sure. Send it. Which is kind of funny. Not necessarily what you'd expect from your supersonic queen, but you know. So they're double jumping, potentially, or they're bouncing something. Put target attacking or blocking creature on top of its owner's library. I don't want that, so I'm going to protect it. Give it protection from white. I gain 4 life. Makes me a lot more stable here. I keep the counters on it, and I get to keep drawing fresh cards, so I think that's probably for the best. And I hit them for 4, which is relevant. Heliod's Pilgrim. What do they have? They could have a Faith's Fetters of their own, certainly. Enthralling Hold. Okay, so they don't have the mana to cast that. Big draw step. Mind Stone. So we are going to crack the Mind Stone right away. So if they block there, I don't want them to take one of my big creatures, so we're just going to go attacking with Vigilance. They can draw a card with their Spectral Sailor, of course. Unfortunate. Hold this in case we draw our Reclamation, whatever it's called. Oh dear, what's this do again? Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you may pay that. If you do, put a counter on it. This unicorn put 2 counters on it. Okay. So Lieutenant comes in. Putting a counter onto itself. No, onto the aerial responder. I think aerial responder because I do want to get rid of this guy. And I don't want to kill their ground creatures if at all possible. Exile a creature, then return to the battlefield. That's not good for me if they have more auras. Oh, so if I attack, they'll just eat it. So we will be patient. And hope that we do not lose. It's looking a little bit rough here. They had a series of I mean, them getting to use the Dovin was very good. And me messing that up was not very good. So we could, and me like letting the Dovin not die was pretty bad. So I could blame myself for that one for not playing around Threnody Singer, but I'll live and I'll learn. I'll figure it out. Oh, yikers. That could be quite grim. Well, I think we've lost this game. We had a decent spot, but I failed to kill the Dovin. They got 3 cards, and it escalated from there. Perfect. So that's this for. That's actually not even very useful. Okay. Well, what can we kill? We can't kill this. It'll come back as a flyer. We can try to kill that. They'll exile it. Wow, that was surprising that they let that happen. I guess they're just going to make a bunch of more tokens. Do I have outs? If I draw a Johnny to get back Alcid, can I do anything? No, I'm just dead. Turns out one attack can really just swing the game. And that's what happened here. Good game, opponent. Real close one. Real close one. Threnody Singer got me good. I'll do better next time, I guess. Welcome to another round. We will keep this on the play. If we draw any land, we can get a turn 3 Ranger, or we can just jam turn 2 Luminarch, depending on what we draw on our first draw step. Turn 2 Luminarch could be quite good, especially because if it dies, we can get it back with a Johnny. I think I like that plan. Playing Ranger as your first card is something to do. But this should be pretty good. Now next turn we can jam the Ranger. Champion of Woods, okay. and start putting counters onto other creatures. Then we can get Mikaeus and our Alseid, our pretty typical 2-card pairing. What is that? Oh, Moltani. Okay, good to know. Alseid and Mikaeus. I wish I could get the Mikaeus down, but I cannot. So we will put down the Alseid. And we'll put a counter onto the Ranger. Because Alseid is usually sacking itself anyway. A Johnny and Alseid is a really good combo as well. Oh, Merfolk Skydiver. A nice little combo piece here. So, if I want to go a Johnny, counter. No, I'm just going to play Mikaeus. X equals 1, 2, and then I can animate the Guardian Idol. No, I'm going to make it X equals 1. Then I make this into a creature. Make everything big. Put a counter onto the Loxodon. So now everything has a counter on it. I could have put the counter onto the Mikaeus, because that represents a counter for everything. But this way, if they kill Mikaeus, I'm still chilling. So this is hexproof. Oh my gosh, if only I had a forest. Well, you live and you learn. We could do this so they don't get counters. We could also... I think playing a Johnny's reasonable.
It is good to see you, my
Definitely put one on that guy. Probably want to keep the Luminarch Aspirant safe.
Look how far you've come.
And Mikaeus puts counters on everything. So we can just be okay and protected. We have our Alseid up. We're going to be activating Mikaeus. It's a little bit hopeful that we get our branching evolution going. Thassa, so they can make a couple of 0/2s every turn. Or they can put a counter on something every turn. Oh, Thassa is also active, so...
Lash out all you want.
I'm gonna really dig for a forest here. Because if I hit one, I get so much bigger. Oh gosh. The pain.
See in yourself what I see in you.
This is a little bit rough. Gotta be said. We'll find a forest eventually, though. Ugh. Their Thassa is really good.
I will fight on.
This Faith Fetters is really weak right now. They're just gonna keep making 0/2s. Okay. Oh, I meant to animate that first. My bad. There's the card. This is a little bit irritating still because they just have a lot of stuff going on. And unfortunately, I can't really punch through at all. I think I'm going to lose this game. It's really worrisome. This Thas is just unbeatable for my deck. Okay. I think I'm going to use this to recycle the Alseid. I can make tokens with the Castle Ardenvale to help compete with this. I'm just making my creatures massive every turn. Oh gosh, it's wild. It's insane. Okay, they're gonna have to attack it again. Yikes. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I'm gonna get back the Alseid. I think it's more valuable than the Ajani at this point. I have unlimited counters. And then this is probably better so that I can get a 1/1 as well. And also dig deeper in my deck. Beautiful. They can block one with the Thas. They can just block with a bunch of those things too. Yep, this is problematic, shall we say. Man, they have a really nice value engine set up, and this Merfolk Skydiver is a huge problem. Dang. This Thas has just beat my deck. Some cards are like that, though. Oh, gosh. I totally messed up. I could have killed him. Oh, no. They only had blue cards. I could have used my Alseid to kill them. Oh, Frabjous Day. That's not great. Sure. Yeah, and there goes my opportunity to kill them. Dang it. I botched it. Could I have made this thing big enough? Oh, I certainly could have. I could have put counters on it, that's 16. Oh my gosh. Hard to notice that at the time sometimes, but still real sad. Might as well gain the 1 life, I think. Oh, actually. No, it's got Death Touch. I messed it up. At least I know I could have won. Still pretty disappointing that I messed that up. I'll have to maybe try to finagle a victory out of this anyway. Am I just dead? 5, 9. No, I'm not dead. I actually have a flyer that can block their stuff now, which is nice. I messed up. Oh man, it feels bad to realize it so late afterwards. But, you know. Cubes are really hard. It's difficult to play them perfectly, especially when, like, I think if I had known Threnody Singer was a card in the cube, I could have attacked that differently the previous game. Similarly, I just completely forgot how protection worked. There's just a lot of complex interactions. I didn't realize all their creatures were blue once they lost their Triton. Okay. Sure. Oh, really? So 9, 12. So I have 3 blockers. Smallest one can go there. I can kill the Benthic guy. And this token. So then I take 4, 9, 12. I could just kill that too. They'll bring it back. I'll just kill that. Oh, that's double blocking now. Yeah, I gotta kill that. Okay. So I go to 2. They no longer have the Benthic thing to blink. So what are they gonna blink? Maybe I'll win after all. Okay. So Roalesque. They have 5 blockers. So they have 5 blockers. I have 1, 2, 3. I have 3, 4, 5, 6 attackers. They have 5 blockers. If they have 4 blockers, 2 of my creatures get through. My 2 smallest creatures are these 2 guys. The little ones. This is these 2 guys. This is 14, 18 exactly. And they have 4 blockers. Sure, let's do it. Put it on this guy. Attack. Put 2 counters on everything, and I think that's lethal. I think they made an overly aggressive attack with the mesmerizing Benthid in particular. But I'm not going to fault my opponent. I mean, I could have killed them with my card as well. I just screwed it up personally. And maybe I didn't count this right. Maybe they're not dead. Maybe they have a single card. Maybe they have an unsummon in their hand. And they did the math. Or maybe they just were counting on their Roalesk not dying. Hard to say. Guardian Idol pretty clutch here if it does end up being the game-winning piece. I hope they don't have an unsummon, but you know. Nope, looks like they don't. Wild game opponent. Got there in the end. Whew, I'm glad I won that one. It was definitely one that I could have won earlier with my Alseid play. I'm glad I noticed the play, but yeah, then they kind of threw there at the end. Maybe they didn't have any options, or maybe they were worried about my aspirant in the end, but totally a wild ride. See you folks in the next round. Welcome to another round. Pretty solid hand here on the draw. Some of our counters cards, a turn 2 play that plays into our game plan, so pretty clear keep here. Blue, white, ooh, a nice little control strategy maybe. Well, that card could be really good in our deck, with our hand in particular. Hey, I know where that comes from. We got it. Let's go. Ooh, if they have a Fearless Fledgling of their own. So maybe they're building a similar deck to ours. Obviously, we hope that we hit a counter, but hitting a land's not the end of the world there. It's just a little bit awkward for our Renatas and stuff. I guess Bloomhook will still enter. We can stack the triggers in ideal ways. And it does trade with their Emissary quite nicely, so. It is less ideal if they counter this, must be said. Someone's got to say it. I hope they don't counter it. I should have done this post-combat. Okay, they tapped their 2 guys, sure. Overall, that's really okay with me. I have a lot of life gain from the Faith's Fetters. I'm just going to win by going way over the top of them if they don't kill this Renata. I take 3. I'm okay with that. If they just play the Ardent Veil Tactician, I'm also okay with that. Okay, well that's going to have to be dealt with. So we are going to go Plains. Mind Stone. Faith's Fetters. Get out of here, Mikaeus. Pretty much had to do that. This card just spirals out of control so quickly. I assume their deck has some similar pieces to my own in that way. Shacklegeist, sure. Very happy to make that trade if they let me. Yep, Threnody Singer. Reasonable. Very reasonable for them to have that in that spot. I can play this, but I don't have anything to really kill right now, so we'll just go this way. We'll do this. I don't think they have a removal spell. I did that way because now I can use this Bloom Hulk situation next turn. They're hitting me in the air for a decent amount, but I have some life gain here, and I'm at a pretty good life total already. Hopefully they just play this. Yep, thank goodness. It means they probably don't have that much going on. So we'll start off this way. So how much mana we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can go 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. Start with the Owl Seed. Follow up with the Apparition. Land. Put a counter on everything. Everything gets a counter. Choose what to attack with attack for 7. They have a 3/2 blocker and a 2/3 blocker. So this would kill both of them. Pretty good for me. I'm fine trading this for both of those, even though it'll get bigger next turn. Actually, that's not true. I don't really want to do that. I'm just going to attack with this guy. Next turn I can play the Indrik, and they concede. Pretty clean game overall. That worked out quite nicely. And the deck seems very good. I'll see you folks next round. Welcome to another round. We have a fantastic hand on the play here. We're going to lead off with the Luminarch Aspirant, because that lets us then play the Aerial Responder and put a counter on that immediately. Oh, we're playing against mono red, potentially. Does that change anything? Not really. It could incentivize a line where we want to trade with the Fledgling. We definitely still want to load up this with counters if possible. Breaking Runner, sure. Two things with counters so far. Fledgling does fall off as the game goes on, but Aspirant can put counters on it similar to if there was landfall being enabled. My cat says hello. I just need to reorganize the way I'm sitting in my chair. Okay, so they're attacking that way. Probably indicates that they have a shock, but they don't want to 2-for-1 themselves, so we will not block. The responder is going to gain that much life back anyway, and if they could have killed it, they would have killed it. Okay, they lightning it. Okay. Lightning McQueen. Okay. What I have to assume is that Bazir's Lieutenant as a 4/5 is just too big for them to handle a lot of the time. It might not be. If they attack into it, I probably wouldn't block because I can just use my Ajani. Vigilance and Lifelink is a key combo here. If they attack me, I will not block because it means they have something. Probably a 4 damage spell or another 3 damage spell. Okay, this is a really good sign. Because playing a Johnny, sitting back behind my guys, or a Johnny minusing to get Luminarch Aspirant back. But probably honestly just a Johnny plus, make my guys bigger. Keep gaining life for my flyer.
You do not have to fight alone. Strength is born of struggle.
Maybe next turn I minus. But honestly, just ticking up towards the ultimate is pretty scary. Because they can't beat 3/1/1 cats a turn, I don't think. I find that doubtful, to say the least. Even have Castle to make 1/1s. I expect a concession relatively quickly here. Just aerial responders are really good against aggro. Vigilance is really good against aggro because you pressure them while also gaining life. And this is a big creature, just really hard to get through. Their deck looks pretty decent. They got some nice early aggressive creatures. Has a red. I can just block that with my 5/6. So we'll go this. This. And we do have the City's Blessing. Let's go. And they have conceded. So overall, pretty straightforward victory, and I'll see you folks in the next round. Welcome to another round. Pretty good hand here. Our Ranger of Eos still has 2 targets. And we have a nice little curve out. Even though we don't have counters yet, Sage will work really well with the... what's his name? The guy. The Micaeus that we've been getting. I think we're on the play here. I don't quite remember. Actually, no, we're on the draw because we chose second. We already saw they had mulliganed. And a Luminarch Aspirin would make this hand absurd. Ooh, mono white aggro potentially. I don't mind just trading off the Alseed, but they can't attack with this anyway for a turn, so we are okay for a little bit. Can't attack or block alone. Let's chip in for that damage. Gain that life. Every point counts. We're probably just going to jam the Evolution Sage. Sure.
I'm inspired by a good assault.
It's going to be tough to block this, at least for a second. Evolution Sage, eh? I mean, Curious Obsession, eh? Curious Obsession could beat me. I don't have a ton of removal.
Not just a gadget,
Okay.
but ingenuity.
Oh, they're attacking. Both. That's a bold strategy. Let's see how it plays out for him. Probably gonna just jam my Renata next turn. Ooh, that is pretty good. I'm in trouble.
This is no mere trinket.
Yeah, this is tough. I kept a hand on the slower side. They also have Alseed. So I want to lead with this so that I get the proliferate. So I want to get my 2 guys. Yep. And this is just enough to give it flying. If they block there, probably not the best for me. So they'll probably go block, chump. This hurts me to do. They're both so good. But I have to get these flyers off the board somehow. I could have also suicided this guy, because then they go that, they double chump, so I keep both my guys. Oh, they keep him around. Yikes. That's also terrifying. That's a big yikes. They have 2, 4, 6, 8 power in the air. I don't think I can survive this.
Have their uses.
Unfortunately, I don't have any life gain right now. I guess I have aerial, which would gain me a decent amount of life if I drew that. That'd be 3 power of life that they could give protection. Curious Obsession on a flyer is good against me. Close, almost. Almost kind of close. Not really. Oh, I screwed that up. Yeah, I can't win this anyway, but I could have played my cards in the opposite order. Whoops. Yep. We'll concede that. Good job, opponent. They got the Curious Obsession down. It just really fueled their whole game plan. Pretty sweet deck. They have a lot of flyers. I meant to click View Battlefield, but see you folks next round. We're backs to the wall now. 2 losses. I think we have 5 wins. Let's see. I know people sometimes forget. Yeah, we're 5-2, so pretty good deck, and we'll hope to close it out with some strong finishes. Welcome to another round. This is a pretty good hand, I'd say. It doesn't have a way to put a counter on a creature until Renata, but it does have a lot of powerful stuff if it does end up working out. And we have a nice curve regardless. Patron the Valiant does much better once we already have the counters on the things. Now I'm just going to play my 3/3. It's also a death trigger. It makes my Renata a little bit bigger. Stops me from taking any ping damage. Helps me chip in for 1. I will definitely be ditching a planes here. I'll take the damage if they attack me with that. Next turn I'll play Alseed and Branchwalker. Branchwalker. It's like a Skywalker. Oh, that's a really good card. Well, change of plan. So we'll play Machias for X = 1. Then we'll play the Alseed. And then we will double proliferate. I messed up. I forgot that they had a flyer. Whoops. I messed up my Alseed there. I totally forgot that they already had a flyer to block me. Oh, that was bad. Gray Merchant of Asphodel, okay. Kadoke. So. Land? Not a land. Oh no, I'm just butchering this game, aren't I? Yeah, I am. They just have they have a really good life gain deck here. And I have botched it. They have 3, 4, 5, 6, they have so many creatures in play. Yeah, I'm just dead. They have so many creatures in play. Unfortunate. I don't know. I mean, even if I had kept my Alseed alive, they just have a very good deck. They had a very good curve. They drew a lot of good cards. I'm just completely dead. Good game, opponent. We'll let them know that they had a good game. I mean, I'm sure they know they have a good game, but Feels bad when our deck has a pretty decent curve out, but their deck and its curve out just matches up way better against ours. Like, look at this. Our board is ridiculous. Does not even come close to mattering. We'll just attack them for giggles, as they say. Really good deck on both sides. I mean, our deck is doing really good things. If their deck just has a lot of reach, shall we say. Like, we're just dead next turn because they can just sack 5 things, ping us 5 times. Unfortunately, we were unable to cross the finish line quick enough. Their deck just took over. This is a really good combo. This card did a decent amount of damage to us. Let's see what we do. Yep, and that is game. Pretty unfortunate the way that worked out. Huh. So the decks we lost to was us losing to that Dovin. We lost to actually 2 Dovin decks, so our matchup against Dovin decks was not great. And then we lost to this like pretty great deck. So we lost to very strong decks, but 5-3, nothing to scoff at. My best performance in Tinkerer'S Cube so far. Very happy with how that went, and our deck was really sweet. The Mikaeus was really good, and being able to get it with a Ranger of Eos was actually critical. We did that multiple times. I think we cast pretty much every card in our deck at least once, so that's pretty awesome. I'm looking through, I think we cast all these cards at least once, which is really nice. So yeah, if you were watching this on YouTube, which is the only place you were able to watch this, remember to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, click that bell so you get notified when I post future videos, and leave a comment in the comment section down below with any questions or feedback, things you would have done differently, things you thought were really cool. And if you want to let me know you made it all the way to the end of the video, in the comment section down below, leave hashtag massive counters, because we had so many cool counter synergies, and we just had like incredible, like huge creatures and things of that nature. So really a fun draft overall, and I hope you learned a lot. And I definitely did, and I hope you did enjoy it, and I will talk to you folks next time.